great pass. What a catch!
My goodness.
What an amazing catch from Vicky McFarlane.
Highlight reel. Never say yes to the jest. That was fantastic. Sarah Tarkin making a push for home. Misses 400 herself. 13 strikeouts for Gabby Snyder and one of the best pitching performances we've seen this season. One and a fantastic grab by Emma Burridge. She climbs the ladder and brings it down. Atkins bounces this up the middle. That's going to score a run. Bruins score two. Deep to left field. This is back, and this one is gone. It's magic from Madeline.
Good evening and welcome to Softball SA live softball action tonight. It is the preliminary final, Sturt Falcons versus the West Torrens Eagles. And the winner of tonight's clash will take a place in the grand final against the Walkerville Cats, James Harris. And alongside me is Kathy Lambert and Lee Hull. Welcome, guys.
Thank you, James, and good evening to you and to Kathy and everybody out there watching us.
Yeah, what a perfect night for softball here. There's not a breeze anywhere. The weather is, the temperature is really good. I'm really expecting a really great game tonight, guys.
Well, speaking of great games, it's been two semi-finals to get here. Of course, last Wednesday night we saw Sturt Falcons. The team on your screen right now defeated the third place finishing Port Adelaide Magpies in a real close game.
Yeah, absolutely. It was right down to the wire, 4-3 to Sturt. And didn't Zali Adams, youngster, 16-year-old, do an absolutely fantastic job. She was so well composed, and yeah, it was a really great level of competition.
I think without doubt that was Zali's best game I've seen.
She, of course, was the statewide super player of the game as well. So let's move across to the other side of the diamond. And the team that finished minor premiers, West Torrens Eagles, may have had a shock loss. Some may have thought. However, it was so close at the top of the ladder. A close game was always on the cards when they went down to Walkerville 2-0 on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, it was a really close one, wasn't it? And, you know, West Torrens had the chances, especially in that first inning when they got 3 people on base. First 3 batters on base, and then Jesse Dreswick just went up another notch, and from there it was just strikeout after strikeout. So yeah, it was a good game, and certainly one that I'm sure West Torrens will be bouncing back from for tonight.
Guys, we are interactive throughout the entire final series. So because we're going live on Facebook, we can take your comments. So let us know in the comments page where you're watching from. Say good day, leave a comment. We'll get to you in between the innings breaks. And I think that's fantastic that we can do that, and that's very special thanks to Spacequake Sports. Who could forget our broadcast partners, of course, statewide Super, MC Sportswear, MK Services SA, and of course Softball SA. Now, matchups between West Torrens and Sturt, Lee, have been pretty one-sided so far this year.
Yes, it has, James, but that'll count for nothing, seeing this is a final, and people, there are players in this competition that are big-time players, so the bigger the game, the better they play. I talk of people like Maddie Cameron and Belle White, who didn't look like troubling the scorers against Port Adelaide. Now, that's not going to happen forever. Tonight may be the tournament.
Well, speaking of Travelodge Aussie Spirit representatives, first comment of the night, Jess Torpy, of course, in the Travelodge Aussie Spirit team. And she said, come on, the mighty Eag. So she's watching from Queensland. G'day to Jess.
Hey, Jess.
Hi, Jess. Nice to see you.
Now, we also are missing a couple of our commentators tonight. We were going to rotate through, but to the other guy, to Mark, who is probably with his daughter Lily for her 10th birthday. Happy birthday, Lily. And to Eric Bolnar, get well soon, mate. He's just having a night off to make sure he's fresh for the grand final, because you won't be here, Kathy.
Yeah, I'm in Sydney for the weekend. I cannot believe it. I do a few other volunteer tasks in my life, and I volunteered myself quite some time ago for something on the 30th of March, not knowing that it actually is the grand final. And on top of that, it's a couple of presentation nights for some other sports that I'm involved in. So I will be tuning in from Sydney Olympic Park on the Spacequake live feed.
All right, just to a couple of the others watching, we'll get to you guys in a moment, but we'll probably speak of some of the key players for each team in the game, guys. Let's start with you, Lee. Who are your key players from the Sturt Falcons?
Sturt Falcons, I've named two of them, Maddie Cameron, Belle White, and obviously Zali Adams. Now, Maddie Cameron and Belle White, along with Pippa Atkins, batted 11 times against Katie Sutherland Finch. Not one on base in that 11. That's not going to happen again, and it certainly won't happen tonight. So, and Zali you've spoken about, but quality players, Cameron and White, you can't say any more than that, I don't think. And they're not going to be shut down all night.
And the home team for tonight is the higher finishing team, West Torrens Eagles. So, Kathy, who are your key players to watch tonight?
I think you just can't go past Jordan Lambert in shortstop, Lana Kaiser at third. It's great to see that Lana's driven over here. She lives over in the York Peninsula, which is a couple of hours drive away. So she's made the trip over here to be here for the final. Brody Borovnik is batting really well at the moment. I mean, Sophie Hoyle. I mean, it just keeps going on and on. Kelsey Nucky, Faith Picard. Yeah, it's a strong team.
They do have a great lineup. Steph Trzynski, when are we going to see her? What did she come into the game too late on the weekend?
Yes, I think so. But it was that game, James, 2-0 tells the story. 7 innings. It's Walkerville got a couple of runs, and then Eagles tried to peg it back, but just couldn't. Had opportunities. So it's a score we probably would have thought that could have happened. Now, this is interesting here because Carly Allen's probably just come late from work, I'd suggest.
She is named as the flex player. Lee, let's stay with you. Thanks to MK Services SA, can you let us know who the umpires for tonight's game are?
The umpires for tonight's game, James, and thank you for that. The big man himself, the Hoff, the Hall of Famer, Neville Lawrence, is on plate. At first base, Damien McCauley, and at third base, it's one shade of grey, Ian.
So you did mention that Carly Allen is still getting dressed. She arrived late from work, and we can't blame her for that. So is that just a Riley Benedictson doing some taking the warm-up pitches? She won't start the game, will she?
You wouldn't think so, but she had a very good game last night behind the dish in the B grade preliminary final, which West Torrens won 5-1 over Sturt. All right.
While we've got an opportunity, let's go back interactive with our watchers viewing on Facebook. And thanks to everyone who is watching on Facebook. Don't be afraid to share and like and make your comments. We are interactive and we are very much looking forward to bringing you this matchup. So Mark Clegg watching from Perth, and we've got Sandra from Hornsby Heights in New South Wales. And she's mentioned her daughter, the pitcher. G'day from Queensland, from Helen Russell. Helen, Darren and Jared were all former South Australian state representatives. Jared's gone on to bigger and better things, a big season in Canada last winter, and also won a pitching award at a recent national championship as well. Kelly Durham says hi to you, Lee. And
hi, Kel.
We have got a bunch of people watching. Tanner O'Reilly watching from Whyalla. G'day to Tanner. And a whole bunch of other people saying g'day, even Jeff Jones over in Mount Gambier. We'll get to you if we can. Make sure you leave a comment. Now, Lee, I will go back to you. Let's hear about the West Torrens defensive lineup.
Defensive lineup for the Eagles. It's Maddie Scott to Carly Allen. Here I see the number 21 uniform appearing from work. So she's back in her usual spot as catcher. Round the infield, Kelsey Nucky at first, Sophie Hoyle at second, Lana Kaiser at third, and in the hole, the complete player, Jordan Lambert. The outfield, Faith Picard, Alicia Marching, and Jackie Beale. And Brody Brodnick is batting for Carly Allen, which is a surprise to us all.
All right, well, we are just about to get underway for the preliminary final of the 2018-19 season. Ada Brinketree leading off for the Sturt Falcons. Watches this one down the middle from Maddie Scott for strike one.
Yeah, now West Torrens will have to do everything they can to try and keep Ada off the bases. She's just so dangerous on the base. She's quick, she's clever, she has numerous stolen bases. I believe I saw 12 stolen bases already for the season. This is a really important person for them to shut out and to start the game.
She was fantastic against Port, got on base 2 or 3 times out of the 4 turns. A leader, what more could you ask from your leadoff hitter?
Great change of pace from Maddie Scott. That one just floated in over the top of the strike zone, I'm guessing, and the call from Neville Lawrence, 1 ball and 2 strikes. So ahead of the count here, Maddie Scott. She'll try to pitch around Ada here because she's very good at getting her hands to the ball. Just the 4 strikeouts for the season. We saw 1 on last Wednesday night that looked a little bit generous from umpire Tannering on the night. Let's have a look as the pitch comes in, and Caruana is able to foul that one off, as she does regularly.
It came off her bat very quickly too, so she's definitely there to hit the ball tonight.
Well, she's a player, we've mentioned this many times before, she's a player you can't give any room to swing the bat. You've got to crowd her up. Force her to hit the ball in the infield to first base or second base.
Great piece of this ball right up the middle. And a lead-off single to Ada Caruana. She is leading the Sturt Falcons batting averages and by plenty as well. 405 on the season. And that one will extend the batting average just a little bit, bringing up the dangerous left-handed batter, Pippa Adkins.
Yeah, Aussie under-19 player, recently selected for the World Championships this year, and you know, another player who's so quick around the bases. So if she puts one down here, it's going to put a lot of pressure on the defense.
Yes, it's danger, isn't it? Right from batter number 1 for the Falcons, Caruana, Adkins, then the big guns, Cameron, White, Jordan Lee, Sarah Tonkin.
Adkins, thought that one may have been a little low, and watches that one go through for a called strike. We've got a 1 ball and 1 strike count. And Adkins just looking over to third base coach Morgan Young. Geez, it took a while to make a call then. Maybe he's a little disappointed that a bunt or a steal didn't go down, and maybe a missed opportunity. Gives a clap to Adkins this time around, and that's interesting because Morgan seems to me like a coach throughout the year that has not shown too much emotion. He's kept it in check, and maybe tonight there's just that little bit extra on the line, and so showed a little bit then.
Yep.
High for a ball, so good count now from Pippa Adkins, 3 balls and 1 strike, and keeping my eye on Coach Young here. He's gone back to the signals now after giving a couple of free pitches to Adkins to perhaps swing away. Good count for the hitter.
Yeah, and what we're going to see tonight with Coach Young.
Lays down an absolute cracker of a bunt. It's a safe hit from Pippa Adkins, an infield single. Normally, Lana Kaiser is all over those. Statewide Super Replay will show that it split the pitcher and the third base perfectly.
I'm getting the feeling, James, just by looking at Lana's reaction, and we'll probably see it just in a different angle in a minute, that actually could have been their plan for that, because no doubt a ball going over to first base, Ada would have been easily at third.
Well, Maddie Scott now has a little bit of work ahead of her because she's got 2 runners on, and in the box at the moment is probably the #1 hitter that we've got in the competition, Maddie Cameron. Then we've got one of the best players of our era in the batter's circle, so in Belle White. So danger signs early for the West Torrens Eagles. Let's see how they respond. Stolen base attempt.
Unsuccessful.
Unsuccessful. The Eagles were all over that fake bunt, still third. And Ada Caruana is caught out. Let's watch the statewide super replay. And actually, Cameron didn't cover at all.
Yeah, called out there.
Well, that play was absolutely playing into West Torrens' hands there, because Kaiser was back, anticipating the stolen base from Ada Caruana. Lana and Jordan both know Coach Young very well through the stars, so knows aggressive play. One out. Now we've only got run one on base, but it's in scoring position. Well, that is just a reasonably soft hit to shortstop Jordan Lambert. He takes a catch, and Sturt, who looked in the box seat just 2 pitches ago, have now got 2 out.
Yes, and it's funny, every time you throw Maddie Cameron something off pace, she has difficulty with it because her hands are so quick through the ball.
Good pitch from Maddie Scott to get on top of the count early on Belinda White. That might be important in the early innings, as she will see a pitch down the middle and drive at Belinda White.
Yeah, and I think going back to that play on Ada Caruana, they've done a little bit of stealing. Coach Young, I love the way he coaches. He's really he takes a lot of risks. He does some really interesting things just to catch players off guard. And we have seen a few steals from second to third this season from Sturt and a couple of other teams. But so no doubt West Torrens have seen that as well, and we're prepared for that.
Fouls this one off as well. Change of pace from Scott. That one coming in at 87 kilometres an hour. The pitch before 96. So she is pretty close to that triple digits. But Maddie is mostly known for a ground ball pitching rather than a strikeout pitching. So way ahead of the count here on Belinda White. She doesn't have to throw one anywhere near the zone here. Change of pace and a pop-up to centre field from Belinda White. Alicia Marchang backs back. She thinks about it. She tracks it well. Takes a good catch for the 3rd out. And, gee, West Torrens got out of trouble there.
Yeah, they sure did. Two runners on and some dangerous batters, you know, up to bat. They did a really good job, and credit to pitcher Maddie Scott to lessen the damage really in this inning.
Well, on screen, change of innings, which means that we can go to those watching at home on social media and at Softball SA Facebook page. Don't be afraid to like, share, comment, and we'll get to you when we can. We've got people watching from Elizabeth. G'day to Millie, Berry, Crystal Brook. So Adams supporters there, and we'll see Zali Adams take the stripe in a moment. G'day to Wags, a former SA men's representative. Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. G'day to Wayne Auger there, and Auckland, New Zealand. So all around the world they're watching, and a great start to the game as well. So Lee, if you could do us the honours and go around the Sturt defensive lineup.
Okay, thank you, James. It's Zali Adams pitching to Sarah Tonkin. First base, Pepper Atkins. At second, it's Rachel Tonkin. And at third base, it's Jessie Keats. In the hole at shortstop, Belle White. At left field, it's Jordan Lee, recovered, I think, pretty well from that nasty knock she got in her eye at training last night. Maddie Cameron's at centre, and Ada Caruana is at right.
Just talk us through that, Lee. She was at training last night here at West Beach.
Yep, they were on diamond 2 and must have just got a bad bounce out in the diamond, and just split her left eye open a bit up in the top, and obviously got some stitches, and she's buttered up. How tough is that?
Yeah, key contributor for the Sturt Falcons, and one that flies under the radar a little bit, Jordan Lee, but important player in the left side of the diamond. Over 60% of the plays defensively for the Sturt Falcons go to the left side of the diamond. So third base, shortstop, or left field. So Jordan Lambert to lead things off for the West Torrens Eagles.
Yeah, dangerous batter. Jordan's leading her team in batting average and stolen bases and just about every stat there from the batting box. I think the pattern I see, if Jordan has a really good start to the game, then it really lifts West Torrens to follow.
She's the barometer, isn't she? We've spoken about it before, and that's exactly what she is, Jordan. She has a good game, they invariably win.
Well, Adams got Lambert swinging at the first pitch with a high one, and so she's gone back upstairs but Lambert leaves this one, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Also got 12 walks on the season as well, so she does have a good eye when required, but just about leads the competition in hits as well. Her and Faith Picard both with 22 hits. Picard's got 23, so there you go. As she attempts that fake bunt. So have a look at that. The versatility of this player. Swings hard at the first one. Very patient on the next couple, and then goes to running bunt. So you just don't know with Jordan Lambert. She'll keep you guessing. 3-1 count. High for ball 4. So lead off on base now. Zali Adams has not thrown too many walks in the season. And I've got the pitching stats here for Zali. She's thrown 62% of Sturt's innings this year at a 65% strike rate. Great ERA 2.5 for a 16-year-old in this competition. Only 26 walks out of those 83 innings.
Fantastic.
High again. So see plenty up and out of the zone. That could be, though, because it's a bunt situation for Faith Picard. And Jordan Lambert on first base. Watch for the stolen base as well.
Has to bunt this pitch.
Yeah, they've just got to take it one batter at a time, one base at a time. It's potential. Now, I don't see it being a big, high-scoring game today, so they've just got to be really patient, both teams, in getting runners on bases and getting them around.
Might go for your predictions a little later in the game as well, guys, as you get a chance to reevaluate and maybe even reforecast, and a cheer, Bronx cheer from the crowd as Zali Adams gets a called strike. 2 balls, 1 strike for Picard. Takes off on the pitch, it's high, so it's a good one to throw over, and Lambert will arrive safely, but the ball is just slightly fumbled there from Belinda White. Just maybe a little off target as well from Sarah Tonkin. So Jordan Lambert with a stolen base.
And some friendly smiles between the two Aussie Travelodge Aussie Spirit players, Belinda White and Jordan Lambert. Very good friends.
Former housemates. Yep.
And off the field, and yes, former housemates.
High foul ball to first base. Player Pippa Atkins gets under it, reads it well. No one covering second as Maddie Cameron, the centre fielder, has to do the work. So Jordan Lambert just keeping the defence on their toes. Statewide Super Replay showed that catch.
Yeah, Faith was caught on the back foot then playing that shot. That's why it finished where it did.
Yeah, she'd be really disappointed in that. Faith's a much better batter than that. And that brings up Ilana Kaesler.
Ilana Kaesler up to bat. As you mentioned, made the trip from the York Peninsula for tonight's game. Almost as far as what Zali Adams comes every weeknight. Of course, maybe they got a lift together from Port Wakefield.
It makes perfect sense. Although there's quite a few in the Adams family, so maybe they
chartered a bus. Ilana Kaesler gets all of this one, but it's gone foul. Very deep here into foul territory. Just a little early on it, and the power of Kaesler on show.
Well, Lana said, throw one up, then I'll hit it. You can hunt leather, but you didn't need to because it was foul. It's a long shot, wasn't it? A long piece of the ball.
Well, at the end of it all, it was just a long strike as Kaesler goes down on the count, 0-2, and so has to protect the zone, not taking any chances with her old friend behind the plate, Neville Lawrence. So fouls this one off, and the count remains 0-2. Runner still in scoring position. That's Jordan Lambert.
Yeah, and it was a good pitch there by Zali Adams, a little bit of an off-speed one after the pitch that she gave Lana the time before. So, yeah, I'm just so impressed with the composure and the intelligence of the 16-year-old girl.
Again, fouls this change of pace. That one came in at 80 k's an hour, so really takes a lot off of it. Adams is up there around the mid to high 90s with her faster pitches. Leaves this one outside, way outside for ball one. So starting to get herself into the count a little bit. 1 ball, 2 strikes. She's seen a few pitches, fouled off 3.
Yeah, she's getting her money's worth for the trip over from New York Peninsula.
Another foul. So 4 fouls in this count. So we've already seen 6 pitches, 4 of them fouled off.
And shout out, if you're out there, to any students from any of Lana's, Miss Paisler's classes over at Kadena High School.
High for ball 2. So great turn at bat here from Kaysler. Seen a lot of pitches, as we saw from batter number 1, Jordan Lambert, who got, although fouled the first one off, went to a ball for walk. And then we had, of course, Faith Picard didn't swing until she got a strike on her as well. So saw about 4 or 5 pitches as well. So making young Adams work here, and Kaysler's now gone to a full count.
Great
2 count.
Yeah, great turn at bat, isn't it, so far? What will it bring?
Ball 4. So after an 0-2 count, fouling off about 4, she has earned herself a walk. What a great turn at bat from Kaysler.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, you know, we've got the same situation on here. We've got Sophie Hoyle, power hitter, has hit balls over the fence before. You know, similar situation, and Zali and the Sturt team are going to have to work really hard to minimize the damage that she could potentially do.
All right, up to bat now is the dangerous Sophie Hoyle. I say danger because she's generally all or nothing, isn't she? She can hit the ball hard. Have a look at this from the leadership of Belle White. She's called timeout. Seeing that Zali has just struggled just a little bit. We know that it's not the occasion because, gee, didn't she play well last Wednesday in an elimination semi-final? But Belinda White just taking the pace out of the game a little bit.
And just making the batter Hoyle wait. And people that have a real swing like Sophie Hoyle, they don't like waiting. They want to get on with it. She'd be due for a long shot too, Sophie. So look out there in the outfield. Get your running shoes on, girls.
Low for ball 2. So Sophie Hoyle, who likes to swing freely, has got a hitter's count here, 2-0 with 2 runners on base. I'm tipping here. I'm going to do a Lee and tip that she's going for this one. Right down the middle, and a good one to go for. So perhaps if Sophie and I were on the same page, she might have gone for it.
Maybe so. Well, you hang around with the experts, you soon pick it up.
Goes after this one, and that is the Sophie Hoyle we all know. 2-2 count now with 2 runners on. And as Sturt were threatening, this time it's West Torrens.
Same sort of situation, isn't it?
Change of pace and a pop up to shortstop Belinda White. Is that an infield fly? If it doesn't go too high, I don't know. Maybe it was. And the second out for West Torrens, bringing up to bat Kelsey Nucky.
Yeah, and Kelsey, again, you know, we just go name after name after name. Another power batter, very consistent player. You know, always is reliable in the batting box. So, you know, West Torrens will be hoping that she can do what some of the other batters haven't been able to do quite yet, especially to very quick runners out on the bases.
Well, the same thing applies for the Eagles here. They can't afford to get out of this innings with no score because that's what Sturt did after looking so menacing. It's very, very copycat, isn't it, the first innings?
Well, it's very similar to what we saw with West Torrens against Walkerville, wasn't it, on the weekend? They both had very similar first innings.
Yeah, it certainly was, yeah. It's amazing how games unfold.
Well, a 2-0 count here for Kelsey Nucky, and she has got an impressive stat next to her name, and that is her batting average with runners in scoring position. She's close to 400, 385 batting average, runner in scoring position and that is higher than a 286 regular batting average. So good position for West Torrens to be in, and good batter up to bat. Swing and a miss at this one. Now, I saw you point to your forehead, Kathy, because on Saturday we saw Kelsey foul a ball into her own face. She had a stitch mark, a couple of stitches left on her forehead on Monday, but she tells me that she's fully recovered.
Yeah, what a trooper. That was a hard hit, and if any of you caught some of the highlights or from Spacequake Sports that on their Facebook page and also on Softball Essays page, you will see that hit in slow motion, and I still grimace each time I watch it.
Low for ball 4, so the third walk of the inning sees the bases loaded. And Kelsey Nucky, let's just talk about her resilience this year. She's played with a broken toe, she's played with a strained knee, and she's also, you know, it's a little maybe suspected concussion after fouling it into her own forehead on Saturday. So tough player, and that brings her up to bat. Brodie Borovnik. Now, hasn't she had a breakout year? This young Brodie Borovnik probably gone under the radar with the talent that we see in this West Torrens lineup week in, week out.
Given the opportunity, Brodie's grabbed it in both hands, and I think she's played every game or part thereof of every game. Fantastic for a young player.
In the designated position today.
And she comes in with a batting average
Piece of the ball up the middle. Jordan Lambert will score the first run of the game. Lana Kaiser turns. She's got a slot on the bat. She's safe. She gets under the tag. Kelsey Nucky will get caught short at third for the third out of the game. But not until, or it wasn't after, until after Brodie Borovnik. Statewide Super Replay will show it here. It probably comes off the end of the handle a little bit, off the inside. Jordan Lambert scores. Coach Andrew Scott was waving Kaiser through. She had the bat to contest with. Safe was the call from umpire Lawrence. Another angle will show it here. Ball up the middle, and Kaiser's got to take on the arm of Maddie Cameron. Probably just a touch high. Kaiser pumped.
And I was just about to say before she did that magnificent hit that she's got such a high average, a batting average, when she's got runners in scoring position, and it's 333. Just having a look at that, I hope those kids from Kadena are cheering on Ms. Kaiser on that play, because that was gutsy.
Well, what more can you ask from your designated player? Whack, just didn't have to hit the cover off it, just cleared the infield, scored 2 runs. Tells its own story. Every picture tells a tale.
Thanks, Lee. Statewide super special comments coming from Lee Hull there. As we are interacting, I'll quickly just say g'day to those watching that have left us a comment. Let us know where they're watching from. We've got Braden in Tassie, Kevin McCormick from the Office for Recreation, Sport and Racing. G'day to Kev. We could see China, so Vonnie's watching from China again. Pods and Mouse say g'day to Lee. Jerome Herituku, g'day mate. We played together in the Netherlands, and a couple of the Aussie Steelers men's players announced today going to the World Championship in Prague watching. Josh McGovern and Ryan Sinclair. We wish the Steelers all the very best of luck for their World Championship tilt. Just want to give a little shout out to Chops. I hope he's watching at home, mate. A little stiff, but there you go, mate. You'll get another chance, I'm sure. High and out of the zone, 96 k's an hour from Maddie Scott. Carly Allen just fishes the ball out of the back of the net, and up to bat is Jordan Lee. Now, Jordan Lee is batting 5th in the order, and I'm going to tell you now, a lot of people wouldn't have thought that last week, let alone at the start of the season. She's been a great performer for the Falcons, and she's going to get aboard safely. A nice hit over to third base. Lana Kaiser could only just tip her glove to it, and Jordan Lambert has to mop it up. Let's watch the statewide super replay. She pulls this ball, and I'm going to call that a hit.
Yeah, it's great. She had a really good effort at that, and I agree. Anytime a player has a good effort at a ball, even if they touch it, you've got to give the hitter the benefit there.
Well, ball is the call there from umpire Lawrence, and Carly Allen, the catcher, she does not play with too much hype or energy, and that is to catch her runners off guard so she can try those pick-off attempts that she's so renowned for. That one is framed very well on the inside, maybe even a little low, but does very well to even up the count. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jordan Lee on first. Hasn't really jumped out of the blocks just yet. Sarah Tonkin shows bunt, fake bunt, back to a bunt. And just the check from the dugout is to check the swing, and there's a couple of attempts, but she pulled out just in time, I think. So Tonkin, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Last time she batted was against Katie Sutherland Finch and hit a triple down the third base line. It was a great shot.
Yeah, last Wednesday, that was a great shot.
That one's in there, and Allen just does a little bit of extra work to reach that one.
Looked like she was the starter in the egg and spoon race then, Carly.
She's certainly getting out of that catcher position very quickly, just to make sure that if there's a steal attempt on, that she's ready for it.
Piece of the ball is in foul territory. Faith Picard has a job out for her, but she takes a great catch in foul territory, throws the ball in perfectly, and holds Jordan Lee up at first base. So great catch, statewide super replay. Let's have a look at it.
Yeah, check out the speed of Faith. She's one of our quickest runners in the competition, and this is just a great example of that. She almost overran it, actually, but good job to adjust it and make sure she had that.
Rachel Tonkin now up to bat with 1 out. Watches this one through the bottom of the zone. Coach Young, see what he can bring from his bag of tricks here. He's not getting Lee to get very much of a lead off here because she knows how good the arm is on Carly Allen. Great piece of the ball, Rachel Tonkin. A single up the middle. Slight fumble from Marchenk, but nothing doing as Jordan Lee is content with second. She gives a clap of approval. Have a look at that shiner. Did you see that? Just under the grill, you can see that tint of black under the eye. She copped one at training yesterday. Statewide super replay will show the single.
What a great piece. Really hard, perfectly positioned between right over second base, and they'll be wanting to continue the bats following those 2.
Here's the DP for the Falcons, Millie Fidge, who pitched the entire game last night. 6 innings in her case for Sturt.
Foul ball from Fidge. She swung hard at that one and fouls it off. So 1-1 count, and Maddie Scott will be looking to get this inning over and done with in the next couple of batters. 8-9 hitters with just the 1 out with Ada Caruana not far away. Or pick off attempt back to the base, and it's just overthrown, which will see Jordan Lee arrive back safely at second. So there you go. Carly Allen hasn't done much warm-up either. So,
no, I think she was just using that as a bit of a game warm-up, you know, for the next time. Maybe she was foxing. I don't think so, though.
Well, it certainly had some pace behind it, so when she gets the accuracy right, after she just warmed up a bit.
Piece of the ball out to left field from Millie Fidge, and a comfortable catch taken by Faith Picard. So a second catch of the inning. And I was just going to mention a little bit of respect shown on young Millie Fidge because the outfield seemed a little deeper than normal. So be interesting to see if they come in or not. We can see that Jackie Beale comes in slightly for the 9-hitter in Jessie Keach, one of the young stars of our state teams and Aussie programs, as is Millie Fidge, the previous out. So yeah. 2 out.
Jessie normally pulls the ball left field when she pulls it hard, when she hits it hard. So good signs for the Falcons. They're getting hold of the pitches of Maddie Scott, but not making them land on a regular basis.
Well, just throws her hands at that one and fouls it off. So she wasn't going to be hit with any power with that swing, but maybe just killing it off, waiting for her pitch. Good block from Carly Allen, restricting Jordan Lee, not allowing her to get too far off the base there. And Leah might get some insight here would the West Torrens coaching panel still be on edge a little bit, or are they a bit more comfortable now that they've got a couple of runs on the board, or too early?
Well, too early in a game like this, a preliminary final is like 4, I would suggest. They're in the bank, and now the Falcons have to work hard. But what you said was correct, James. Need to get the number 9 hitter out before 80 gets a turn this innings.
Piece of the ball goes opposite field. Sophie Hoyle and Jackie Bill both go for it, but Hoyle covers it easily. She's moving a little better tonight. On Saturday, we didn't find out till after the game, but she'd played a full game of women's football earlier in the day, so she wasn't moving too well to her left or right. So another good defensive innings for the West Torrens Eagle. They get the job done with a couple of runners on base. So Falcons threatening again. Hello to everyone watching at home from the comfort of your couch, and perhaps you're watching the replay on Facebook, the highlights and the big plays of the game. And that's brought to you by Spacequake Sports. Otherwise, you might be watching on NITV or Channel 44. So thank you for your viewership. We are interactive throughout the final series, and so just g'day to a couple of people. We've got Sheldon Hall watching from Broken Hill, and as they say, where are you two? Lindy and her scoring team to our left. Hello, give us a wave, ladies. We've got Jill, Lindy and Julie, 3 of our best statisticians in the state. Someone's watching from Para Vista as well, and of course the Radigan family will be watching as well. So g'day to everyone watching at home. Like, comment and share on Facebook.
And we hope you're enjoying the broadcast so far. It's, as we said at the beginning, it's going to be a good game, and it certainly hasn't disappointed us so far.
It's batters 7, 8 and 9.
And it was batter 7, 8 and 9, Lee, on Saturday who did the damage on behalf of West Torrens, didn't they?
Been happening a few times this year.
Oh, Zali Adams just getting that one in at 90 Ks an hour, so maybe just taking that off a little bit, trying to get a spot, work a spot here for Alicia Marchenk, who's batting in the number 7 position tonight. Looks like Jackie Beale on deck is swinging lefty. We know she can switch hit, but from the left side, she is a running bunt type player. Two balls, so a watchful Marching gets after this one in a good hitter's count.
Yeah, Jackie started making that transition to be a left-handed hitter probably about a year or 2 ago, and it's really coming along. It's a lot more consistent now, and with her quick legs and speed around the bases, it's a real weapon for her and for the team.
Change of pace at 72 Ks. Marching just gets enough bat on this one, but it goes foul. So evens the count at 2 and 2 here in the bottom of the second. West Torrens leading 2-0. What's plan B for Sturt if Zali gives up another couple of runs?
Very good question. Well, they have to go with her for a lot longer than another couple of runs. Say that's 3 innings, that's 5. Maybe they'll make a change then, but Millie went the distance last night, and that was in an hour and 40 minutes game, I think.
Piece of the ball, Alicia Marchenk's going to go over left field's head. Great catch!
That's a great catch.
From Jordan Lee. I thought that was going.
Yeah.
It sounded good off the bat. It looked good off the bat, and a great catch from Jordan Lee out at left field, even with just one good eye.
Yeah, it was a great catch. So if we get a chance to see it on Spacequake, she moved perfectly back for that. And yeah, credit to another youngster in the Sturt lineup who's doing a great job.
Well, we've been going nearly 35 minutes and we're in the bottom of the second innings. So it could be a nice late night here, folks.
Jackie Beale in the left-handed batter's box, watching patiently, and takes her second ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. Oh, looks like Maddie Scott's in the left-handed, holding the bat lefty in the on-deck circle. So could see back-to-back lefties here for the Eagles in the 8-9 positions. High for a ball and ducks out of that one and into safety as well.
Yeah, she's got 3 balls on her now, Jackie, so she'll have a really good look at this.
Well, rightly so with Jackie Beale in the left-handed box. The Sturt outfield are almost on the dirt. Attempted running bunt, fouls off. And Sarah Tonkin looked like was in a race for the ball with Neville there for a second. He's just collecting an extra couple of spare balls because we've seen a few fouls tonight so far. So good aggressive hitting from both teams. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
That race, no contest.
High, but gets a swing. First strikeout of the game. What, for either team maybe? And Zali Adams now just settling into a groove a little bit. And 2 out now for the 9-hitter in Maddie Scott. Now, Maddie Scott was the DP, sorry, the flex player on Saturday, so she gets her opportunity to maybe hit her way into the West Torrens lineup should they progress.
Yeah, and another player that's made a transition from the right-handed batter's box over to the left hand and specializing in this sort of slapping role for her team. And yeah, this is certainly the second half of the season. It's really coming together well.
Maybe predetermined on that one as she was on the move. She was halfway out the box before she got her hands to that change of pace and fouled it off. So just needs to learn to keep her hands back just a little longer on those change-ups. 0-2 count. Good pitch and a little pop-up to Pippa Atkins for the 3rd out. So a 1-2-3 inning for the Falcons defensively will arrest some of the momentum that West Torrens got in the bottom half of the 1st inning where they scored 2. But it's been the Falcons that have been threatening most of the game, and they'll go around to the top of their order and Ada Caruana. Now, guys, we are interactive as we keep mentioning in the breaks between innings, and so we'll say g'day. We've got some more people watching from Port Pirie, so cheering on Zali and Ada, and we've also got Ian, who's just made a great little comment to say, gotta love Space Quake Sports bringing South Australian sport into our home. So echo that sentiments there, Ian. Now, we did get a comment. Hills final is going to be broadcast, Hills men's final broadcast on Space Quake Sports on Saturday, April the 6th. You may have seen the promos on the Space Quake Sports and Softball SA Facebook page. Hahndorf Magpies went straight through to the men's final. They beat the Red Sox in a very interesting clash on the weekend. Red Sox do have another chance. They finished top and no doubt will come out firing against the Chunga Demons, who will contest that game this Saturday night.
And James, are you playing in the grand final? Would you happen to be in one of those teams?
Yes, I'll be commentating the grand final this Saturday, and playing in the Hills one this Saturday.
Well, congratulations on making it through.
Ada Caruana back to the game's original leadoff hitter. And she got aboard from a nice shot to start off the game.
And then was picked off on that catcher to 3rd base when she attempted to steal from 2nd to 3rd. So 2 balls. And a good time for Maddie to shoot that in, Lee.
Yeah, so just can't give Ada any width though to swing that through those arms. It'll go over shortstop of the fence. I'm telling you, if it goes out there.
Yeah, just well picked up there, Bopalana, but not really all that steady, and threw it into the ground, making it really difficult for Kelsey Nucky to get a clean grab on that. So
you get Ada and Pippa both bringing the ball, dragging the ball with them to the right side of the diamond. That's your best chance of getting them.
92 kilometers an hour there from Maddie Scott. So we've got Pippa Adkins in the batting box now. Another left-handed player, left-handed slapper and hitter. She actually is left-handed, not having moved over there at any time in the last couple of years. One of our quickest players also in the competition.
Yes, and she had a wonderful experience with the Stars this season, which will stand her in good stead for future years.
Yeah, she did a really good job when she was brought on. At times she was brought on as a DP. She played a couple of games at first base and absolutely was not out of her league in that competition.
Yeah, she was talking to me about it, and she said she didn't know that she would get that much time. She didn't expect that much, but so she was tickle pink.
And that brings up I think it's a 3-1 count. We'll just double check that in a sec. And here we go. It's danger signs again. We've got the two very quick runners on base, and we've got the two big batters coming up. Pulled on that one just a little bit early there.
It's the same scenario for the Falcons as their first innings, wasn't it? First two got on, then the next two got out, as well as the pick off at third by Carly, which was a great throw.
Cameron gets a great piece of this ball. It's going deep to the fence. Great catch from Faith Picard. The appeals to play second base. Well, they should have waited till after the play to contest that one because the ball gets away from second base. Sophie Hoyle, she throws it away from the catcher, Carly Allen. It all might be for nothing because the statewide Super Replay might show it. Let's get to that in a moment. West Torrens are going to appeal the play at second base. Let's see what happens here in, well, that's the angle that shows Maddie Cameron. She was out for the catch. Now the throw from shortstop, she heard the call from, let's watch the statewide Super Replay here. Faith Picard takes the catch, that's the first out. Then you go Jordan Lambert, here's the call from the dugout, throw two, and that is because Ada Caruana very well may have left the base early, confused the fielder, and she rushed the throw to two. Let's watch it here, great angle. Well, she took off, we couldn't see it, but she did take off.
Have a look at Pippa there. Will I, won't I, will I, won't I. Good eye on the ball and reading the play.
Well, we may never know. Outfield very deep for Belinda White, and just the one out. Ada Caruana has scored. That's not a squeeze bunt, it's just a bunt. Will she throw it to second as the centre fielder covers? Belinda White lays down a running bunt. Perhaps the West Torrens defence thought suicide squeeze. Pippa Atkins didn't go anywhere. Second base left uncovered, and Alicia Marchink did run in and was there in time for a play to be made, but Carly Allen kept hold of the ball, and now we've got runners at second and third with one out, and Jordan Lee up to bat.
Yeah, dangerous times here for West Torrens.
Another bunt. That one stayed in the field of play. Atkins takes off on the throw. Tag play made at home. Not in time. Pippa Atkins ties up the game, diving into home. Great bunt from Jordan Lee. Let's watch the ball. It'll land just in fair territory in front of the plate. Pippa Atkins took off on the throw. Don't think Carly checked the runner first, or if she did, it was just out the corner of her eye. It wasn't enough to take back Pippa back onto her heels. She didn't hesitate at all to take off on the throw. Sophie Hoyle's throw wasn't too bad coming back. Sarah Tonkin now fouls this one off the first pitch. Geez, it's all happening here, guys.
It certainly is. I think Carly, you said it exactly how it happened, James. I think Carly should have checked the runner because Pippa was itching to go. She had 2 or 3 steps off and she was in motion ready to go. And she did and scored. Tied the game.
Sarah Tonkin still with a runner in scoring position for the Falcons. There is 2 out. This pop-up here is going to go in the gap between shortstop and left field. But tracking back well with the ball is Jordan Lambert, who makes the 3rd out, but not before the Sturt Falcons tie it up. Lots to get through that just happened just then. It all started with a throwing error, and the lead-off runner was aboard. Then we saw a base on ball for Pippa Atkins, so Ada on, Atkins on. Maddie Cameron comes up to bat, hits a deep ball to left field, as we just saw in the statewide super replay. Ada Caruana took off, looked reasonably early, but there wasn't a contest. Here we go. Let's watch the statewide super replay. That's the bunt from Jordan Lee. So great angle from Spacequake Sports. That was a couple plays after. Where did I get up to? Maddie Cameron's fly ball to left field. We saw Ada got to 3rd easily. The call from the West Torrens dugout was play 2, and there was no one going to 2, so it must have been for an appeal to see if she'd left early or not. The ball got away from second base player Sophie Hoyle, so Ada came run to score. The throw to home was offline, and so Pippa Atkins, who went to 2nd on that throw to home, got to 3rd on the fumble. And then we saw 2 consecutive bunts, one from Belinda White, perfectly running bunt with a runner on 3rd. Eagles were thinking squeeze play home. She got to 2nd because there was no one covering. Jordan Lee then laid down a great bunt, which the West Torrens Eagles played first for the out, didn't hold up the runner, and that runner was able to score and tie the game at 2-all. And then a pop-up fly to shortstop. There you go, there's a summary of what happened in that inning.
Great job there, James. And wasn't it relentless on Sturt's behalf in terms of their short game and also their base running?
Bottom of the 3rd inning will kick off with Jordan Lambert. Swings after this first pitch yet again. So we've seen 2 innings where she's gone after the first pitch. But they've both been there, but she's just slightly fouled them off.
And a big worry for the Eagles because they've had 3 turns at bat, the Falcons, and they've already got 6 safe hits. And that's a lot after 3 innings.
So, what is the strategy from here then, James? Do you think we'll be maybe seeing a change of pitching soon?
Well, normally I ask you guys the questions, Kathy.
I got in first.
But well, if you want my opinion, I think that it won't be too far away before we see Steph Drzezinski. She's been warming up in the bullpen the entire game. So she actually played B grade, shortstop. She played last night. And so didn't pitch at all last night, just played the B grade as she's coming back from injury. So as to why she's playing in a slightly lower grade. B grade final will be played grand final will be played this Saturday between Walkerville and West Torrens. Ball 4 for Jordan Lambert, and Charlie Adams, just the hands go on their head. Even Belinda White's got their hands out, just wondering where that last pitch was located. So Lambert, 2 at-bats, 2 plate appearances for 2 walks. And can West Torrens respond after a big 3rd inning from the Falcons?
Well, being at the top of the lineup, they've given themselves a really good chance to do that. But in saying that, as we said before, West Torrens 7, 8, 9 batters have been really strong over the last couple of weeks as well. But if there's one person who's been consistent in terms of getting runners around the bases, it's this player here, Faith Picard.
This one is inside, and great diving catch from Jessie Keach. Picard's little pop-up, she intended to pull that one, but it was inside, got jammed up for space, and statewide super replay will show it here. And good little catch from Jessie Keach. She gets up straight away to keep the runner in check. Look at the smile on Zali Adams' face. She's happy with their 3rd base player. And Lana Kaiser now up to bat. So we actually saw in the 1st inning that Lambert went aboard from a walk, Kaiser got aboard from a walk, and then the 3rd walk of the innings was from Kelsey Nucky. And that's how they got their 3 runs, because then Brodie Borovnik came up with a 2-run shot and got that runner aboard from a walk this inning. Faith Picard's pop-up is the first out, and Lana Kaiser fouls that first one off for strike 1. Which is that change at pace. 76 Ks an hour, so she's taken a good 20 Ks off that one.
I'm sure Lana will be just shaking her head thinking, oh, that was nice. She may not get that again.
0-2 count. Lambert takes off on the pitch, and in a familiar count for Kaiser, and almost a replay from the first inning. She fouls that one off. So a tough out at the plate now for the Falcons, as Adams seems to be getting into a bit of a groove here with 0-2, 1 out. Piece of the ball goes to deep centre field. Maddie Cameron gets under it to take a good catch. Lambert had taken off on the pitch, so what may have been a stolen base or a hit and run has turned into nothing for the Eagles as Kaiser flies out and Lambert has to return to first for the statewide Super Replay.
And I'm thinking if Jordan was staying back near the first base, then she would have got through to second quite easy. That was a long, long throw for Maddie Cameron.
Already has 1 stolen base on the game, Lambert. He's surprised she hasn't been sent. As this pop up should be caught from the catcher, and it is from Sarah Tonkin. Reads that one well and almost looks like a smile, but could hardly tell from the mask on her face. So a good little inning from the Sturt Falcons.
It was a great inning, and it was a great inning, and yeah, that ball was so high. She did a good job to keep her eye on it, and I think she had some help there just underneath her, with potentially if it came out of her glove, there was somebody there to pick it up. But good job, and look, I've never been a catcher, but to be able to sight the ball and catch the ball with that mask on, and particularly Sarah's, it's quite a mask. Full credit to catchers. I think it's amazing.
I'll just give you, while we've got a break, guys, the pitching stats for Maddie Scott after 2 innings: 24 balls thrown, 29 strikes and 9 fouls. And I'll do the same for Zali shortly.
Didn't add up, but that's okay, Lee.
I'm just getting it from the champion scorers you mentioned before.
Just keeping you honest, mate, and look, we are interactive on social media, so say g'day, let us know where you're watching from. Some great comments talking about how good the coaching has been and some good decisions, and cheering on your favourite player as well, which we love. So g'day to Chuck Letton, he's watching from the Riverland, and we saw as well Mac Reith Snare, a good friend of mine, watching from country New South Wales. Greg Russack saying g'day to us all from Sydney, so he was a favourite of ours in the umpiring crew. Let's get back to the action. Maddie Scott starts off with a called strike on Rachel Tonkin. She got aboard from a hit in the first turn at bat. This one's deep out to centre left, and tracking back is Faith Picard. Great catch called from Kathy Lambert.
I tell you what, Rachel Tonkin's hitting the ball well this year, very well.
Yeah, just having a look at that again. Gee, our outfielders are doing some great work out there on both teams. There's been some big hits, and they've really covered the ground well to get these outs here.
Another one of your speed program athletes, Kathy.
Faith Picard, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it just makes it so threatening for her when she gets on the base, just to have that kind of speed in her legs.
And again, the speed program will be run in our Dragons program this off-season. So if you haven't got your expression of interest in, quickly speak to your club around the state and tell them, I want to be part of that program as well, and we might still squeeze you in with one of the last spots available. Great pitch on the outside edge from Maddie Scott, and that was okay batting from Millie Fitch, because although that one's going to get called most times, she didn't have to protect the zone there, and it just wasn't her pitch to go for. So, well left. Let's see if she can protect the zone here. Fouling this one off. Count remains at 0-2.
And James, just to mention again about a little bit more about the speed program. I know we have some good graduates from the program, like Jordan Lamberts and Pippa Adkins and so on, but it's for anybody. You can always be better at running if your technique is, if you have opportunities to improve your technique. So it's for everybody.
Low for a ball, so not a bad place to pitch there from Maddie Scott. So good calling from Carly Allen. Let's see if we see a bit of a mixture here. We had one low in the zone there. Let's see if we can go high and out of the zone. Allen setting up outside with this 1-2 count. It is a little high, but it didn't go into the zone. Alicia Marchenk comes running in for a good catch. Not to be outdone from Faith Picard, the younger of the two, slightly showing up her senior partner out there at centre field. Statewide Super Replay will show a pop-up from Millie Fidge, and she legs that one out just in case it dropped in, but Alicia Marchenk was all over it.
Yeah, good communication too between the two. It looked like it was going right between them, and so good work out there, and particularly because we haven't seen Faith in the left side of the outfield very often this year, so they've managed to work things out fairly well together in such a short time.
9-hitter just Keach for the Falcons, and was that a fake bunt attempt with 2 out there, Lee? Or
just testing, I think. Just testing.
I wouldn't put it past Coach Young. That's his head out. He likes to take risks and do things that you're not expecting.
That's right, and that's where he gets results, and he did previous innings.
Well, that was definitely a running bunt attempt there, and probably trying to catch the corners on their heels, but this is an absolute all-star defensive lineup that we have here for the West Torrens Eagles. We do talk about it quite often. Let's see if Jessie Keach can get herself on. She's behind in the count. Well, that one evens it out at 2 balls and 2 strikes. After 2 running bunt attempts, and Maddie Scott now in the top of the 4th. Gets a piece of the ball. Jessie Keach in the alley, right side. Alicia Marchenk gets around and will restrict that single to 1 base. Great piece of the ball.
Yeah, awesome piece of the ball. Again, you know, I love watching the Sturt team. Coach Young has put all of his faith in so many youngsters here, and, you know, led by the experience of the Belle Whites and the Ada Caranas and Maddie Cameron, and look at, they're just getting better every week.
Back to the top for the Falcons, and Lana Kaiser just comes in a little from 3rd base. 88 Ks an hour, so Maddie Scott has dropped about 8 to 10 Ks, and we're only in the top of the 4th. Jessie Keach on 1st base. Caruana on base twice already. This ball goes up and out to left field. This one's tailing away, but Faith Picard, as good as they get. She is such a good all-round player and utility in this competition. Takes a comfortable catch out at left field, and West Torrens Eagles breathe a sigh of relief.
That's her 4th catch out there, Faith. Now, I have the pitching stats for Zali after 3 innings pitching. 19 strikes, 27 balls, and 13 fouls.
Statewide super special comments thanks to Lee Hull, and of course the stats are thanks to our scoring team to our left, and I can say g'day to a couple of people who have just joined us. We can see that the Queensland guys are watching, and some support from around the country. Callum Turner, who was a draft player for our under-17 boys, watching. G'day to Deb in Sunraysia cheering on Sophie Hoyle, and Tim from Iowa in the USA. We can see also Lily, happy 10th birthday, and to that other guy, we hope you are resting easy at home, mate, and enjoyed the birthday dinner with Lily. Let's get back to the action. Kelsey Nucky to lead the bottom of the 4th inning off for the West Torrens Eagles. Low and outside, but just catching the edges. 85 Ks an hour. So, see, these 2 pitches have taken off a little bit, and but they're working on spots more than pace now, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's a good strategy, because if you just keep pitching the same thing from one inning to the next, the batters on both teams are just too too experienced, and they'll just pick up on that too easily. So, you know, just changing things up a bit is a really great tactic.
One on the outside, one on the inside, and this one goes high. Nucky gets a piece of the ball. Ada Caruana gets under that one very quickly. She's under it. Maddie Cameron was there in a flash as well. And anything that goes up in the air has been gobbled up by this outfield for both teams. It's been exceptional. We saw that great catch on Saturday from Michaela Robinson. So we know that the Walkerville outfield can get the job done as well. So one out, quick, smart for the Falcons. And Bree Borovnik gets after this one, foul ball. And she is the RBI hitter for this team with 2 already in this game when she scored Lambert and Kaysler in the bottom of the first inning, and that is how West Torrens scored their 2 runs.
Yeah, really solid piece up the middle, wasn't it? And with Jordan Lambert and Lana Kaysler on base, you know, anything into the outfield, you can always be guaranteed 2 bases from those girls.
Piece of the ball. Brody Borovnik comes up with another one. She is running red hot this final series.
Great call on Coach Scott to put her in the DP position, because she's been doing such a good job, but you've got to reward her. And isn't she doing the job again tonight?
She certainly is, and I'm sure her parents will be up in the stand somewhere with their fingers and
Tracy.
Yes, and with their fingers and toes crossed.
Great running bunt from, or sacrifice bunt from Alicia Marchink. Gets that ball down and safely on the ground. Good cover from catcher Sarah Tonkin to cover third base, but it was Jessie Keach who was on that ball, quick, smart, firing across to first base. Rachel Tonkin covering, and the first out of the inning, but successfully moving runner, second out of the inning, so it's successfully moving the runner Brody Borovnik over to second base. So
and we've got Jackie Beal over on the right side box for this bat.
8 hitter up to bat, and that is Jackie Beal. So she's moved from the left side to the right side. Late on it, high pitch out of the zone, but she hits it right side.
Right.
Safe hit from Jackie Beal, the talent of this young lady. Laid down a good bunt left-handed, then comes up and hits a hit right side, advancing Brody Borovnik to third base. So interesting situation now that we've got here with the number 9 hitter up to bat. Runners at the corners for West Torrens Eagles in a tied game. Sturt Falcons call a timeout. What will they do here, Lee?
Well, with 2 out, James, I don't think Jackie Beal is going to be going anywhere at this moment. She's going to rely on Maddie's hit. Maddie be looking to try and hit the ball left side of the diamond, clear Jessie Keach, just clear Jessie, and it'll score a run.
Maddie Scott in the left-handed batter's box, leaves that one high for ball 1. Couple of our recent announced under... Oh, no, I can't say that, can I? Let's just scrub that from our memory here. Ball 2, high for Maddie Scott. Team wasn't announced just yet. Nearly a slip of the tongue, and we'll just get back to the action. Zoe Adams pitching for the Sturt Falcons. The game is tied, 2 runs apiece in the bottom of the 4th inning. Scott chops this on the ground. Brody Borovnik takes off on the play. Scott nearly beats that out. A great stretch from Pippa Adkins, and a great play from Jessie Keach to force that out at first. Very important play because the run would have scored. Statewide Super replay. Let's have a look at it.
Great play by Jessie Keach under pressure there. No, tough call, but you know, it is what it is, and we move on from there. But wow,
that's going to test our Spacequake Sports genius at work here, and that is David Mugleton. Let's have a look at a super slow-mo possibly here. We don't see the great play from Jessie Keach, and assistant coach for the West Torrens Eagles. Not happy, Bill Benedictson.
That happens with Canadians. Ask Eric.
Well, Eric's not here, so shout out to Eric. While we're shouting out, we are interactive, as we have a couple of hundred people watching our Facebook live stream. And so g'day to everyone watching at home, and don't forget to like and share the coverage. I missed that, David. Can you play it again, mate? You may have seen the statewide super replay here. Let's have a look at the super slow-mo. She stretches out, and let's just say, as Mark Cramp would say, a bang, bang play. And that one just slightly in favour of the Falcons. Pippa Atkins now will lead off the top half of this inning, and she has got her job cut out for her right now, and that is to get aboard. And she's done so twice already this game. Fouls this one off. 97k, so Maddie Scott fired up after that controversial call. Now, let's just say if the this call was safe, Brody Borovnik would have scored the top of the order for West Torrens Eagles, were up with 2 runners on base. So we could come back to that play.
Well,
swing and a miss from
Atkins. I sure hope it doesn't. Whatever the result, I sure hope it doesn't, because that's just a really tricky way to for a result of a game to happen.
Let's not forget that super slow-mo replay is going at about 8 billion frames a second. And so our umpire over at first, Damien McCauley, is one of the best in the business. He'll go to the Open Men's World Championships later this year in Prague. And he doesn't get many wrong, so we might give him that one. Tough call to make.
Absolutely.
High for ball 3. So Pippa Atkins has actually done very well at this at-bat. She's doesn't have a 3-3 count. She's got a 3-2 count. And we're in the top of the 5th. Check swing, yes, says umpire Neville Lawrence for the strikeout. Maddie Scott gets the out, and I do know one of our good friends at Softball SA, Peter Dietrich, will be watching, and he does like to comment on the calls that we make about the umpires, and I'm sure he'll appreciate the acknowledgement. G'day to Pete. Maddie Cameron watches this one on the outside edge.
If Faith Pickard was any further back, she'll get bitten by a German Shepherd shortly.
That's about where the last bat of Maddie's went, so I'm sure she's got no hesitation about being able to move in.
Well, ground ball to Lana Kaiser, who recovers in time. And second out of the inning. A good play as she sharks across to her glove side. Statewide super replay will show Maddie Cameron get a nice piece of this ball. So Kaiser with her work cut out for her. Cameron on her bike and out by a couple of steps, and second out of the inning. Belinda White now up to bat.
Such an alert player, Lana, isn't she? And you saw it then. Classic. Classic.
Yeah, she's got great reactions. I mean, she's really owned that position, and for great reasons. She's owned it for so long, but she's just so good at her reaction time and reading balls off the bat.
Low, probably at the bottom of the zone, but we did see Bill White get enough bat on that to foul it off. Now, we are in the top of the 5th inning, so Maddie Scott has now gone through the lineup 2.5 times, so the 4-hitter seeing her for the 3rd time this game. You expect to see Steph Drzezinski next inning?
I don't know. Well, if we didn't see too many people get on last time, and we've got 2 up, 2 down this time, so yeah, I'm not really sure. I think if they start batting and get a few more people on, I definitely think we will see a change.
Check from Belinda White. She definitely didn't come around, so no point asking. 2 balls and 1 strike. 3 balls and 1 strike. Well, might not be too bad to walk Belinda White here with 2 out and no one on. Covers. Doesn't go, and Bit of a reaction from Lana Kaiser at third base, but Belinda White aboard from a walk. There she is, Steph Trzynski, just biding her time and biting her nails just before she's probably going to come in. She's doesn't have the hoodie on, and it's pretty cold, so she looks like she is warm and ready to go at a moment's notice. Belinda White gets a big jump. Jordan Lee gets a good piece of this ball, fouls it off. Lee Hull just protecting himself there, waiting for a return catch, but that one's gone well over our heads. A 0-1 count with a runner on one. Expect to see more aggressiveness from Jordan Lee here.
Yeah, the outfield's come in for Jordan, obviously, because she's not Bell, and that's what you've got to do. Too many teams just play their outfielders in the one position all the time. Why? The batters are different.
Jordan Lee has 2 extra base hits for the season, so she can hit them. Running bunt attempt. You see her chop down at the ball, so that's the difference between a sacrifice bunt and a running bunt. Is the sacrifice bunt, the bat is out there nice and early and quick, smart. Running bunt with the 2 outs, of course. You leave it to that last moment and you see that chop down at the ball. High outside for ball 2. Great numbers watching at home. Don't be afraid to say hello. 2 balls and 2 strikes is the count. 2 out, 2 runs apiece here in the top of the 5th. Here we see Belinda White take off on the pitch. She takes off on the hit. This one's going into foul territory, but out of reach for the 3 fielders. Going for the ball, the landing safely in the warning track. So a bit of a life from Jordan Lee as the count remains at 2-2.
Well, they're both shortstops. Jordan Lambert and Belle White have had 1 play, I think, each. So that's rather unusual.
Foul again, and safely foul for Jordan Lee. What about the third base players, though, Lee? I think they've been in the play, and the left fielders as well. So the ball's still going left side of the diamond. You don't need to count them up. I do appreciate you having a look, but it is interesting because those 2 players are always in the thick of the action for their team.
And they're quality players, and you want the ball hit to your quality.
That one outside for a full count now. Belinda White will take off on the pitch with 2 out.
Yeah, absolutely. So Maddie and Carly need to work hard here to try and retire this batter.
Great shot from Jordan Lee. Did that get away from it? It's a great catch taken at left field from Faith Picard. Shoestring catch on the backhand side. They don't get much more difficult than that. Perhaps there is a representative team out there ruining the decision to leave her out. Let's just leave that as Jordan Lee is ripped off a hit.
And interestingly enough, James, I actually the umpire was in my view. I didn't actually see whether she caught it or not, but I could see the jump in the air from Jordan Lambert with the fist pump, and I knew then, yes, she had it.
Had to rely on the statewide super replay, and that was a great camera angle from our very good friends at Spacequake Sports and our broadcast partners. Of course, we can't do it without you guys. Statewide Super, great supporters of women's sport in South Australia. MC Sportswear, the best equipment and apparel store in the country. MK Services SA for all your handyman work and house cleaning needs. To my call team to my left, we've got Kathy Lambert and we've got Lee Hull. It is a tied game and we are in the middle part of the 5th inning. Have your tips for this game and the result changed at all, guys?
Just a little. I'd picked West Torrens to win 6-3.
Well, I didn't have a tip. I'm going to be really diplomatic here. It depends whether you want my commentary Kathy or the mother Kathy.
Again, first pitch, Jordan Lambert, a high fly ball out to a deep right fielder. Ada Caruana looked like she had it covered last moment. She just pulled out of that, so deciding not to lay out for that one, a little out of her reach. So Jordan Lambert with a life. Good to see that the opposition's watching. We saw Chelsea Robinson's name come up, and of course Jessie Dressick. So the battery for the Walkerville Cats. Keeping an eye on this game, because the winner will face the Walkerville Cats in Saturday night's grand final. Outside, and Sarah Tonkin tried to frame that one a little bit, held it for a little bit longer, but just showed that it was a good call from umpire Neville Lawrence, as it was a good 3 balls off the plate.
Yeah, didn't Ada Caruana cover the ground so well there? That she had to go a long way, and gee, she nearly got that.
No, because Jordan's such a quality hitter of the ball and can hit right centre. Ada was playing well over, probably too far over into the game.
Strike out. Right on the inside edge, low, but the bottom of the zone. So Zali Adams gets off to the best start in this 5th inning. I was going to say, we've talked about the change that could come from West Torrens, and Steph Trzynski may come in at any moment. Will we see a replacement for Zali? Not when she's pitching like this.
Let's have another look at this.
Great spot.
Great.
Caught Jordan watching, and Faith Picard has hit this out of the box. Out has called, so a bit of fortune for the Sturt Falcons defense. They've just, Coach Andrew Scott just double checking, but the statewide super replay will show it that she just couldn't quite get the bat out of the running path of that pretty good running bunt, so just needed to drop it a little further out in front. We can see the Sturt Falcons battery on screen now, just having a little joke amongst themselves, and another view at the statewide super replay.
Yeah, let's have a close look at that. Oh, another one of those close calls. Again, I'm happy I'm a coach and a commentator and not an umpire.
You're being very diplomatic again, and there's a difference between being diplomatic and honest.
Kaiser rips into this one, but it's not going to get past Travelodge Aussie Spirit centre fielder Maddie Cameron for the 3rd out. And as quick as they came, 1, 2, 3, the Falcons will bat again. The score is tied after 5, 2 runs apiece.
I tell you what, there's been some terrific outfield catches, haven't there, today?
Yeah, here we look at it again. What great coverage from Maddie Cameron. No surprise, though. Absolutely no surprise. But
leg speed.
Leg speed. We'll just have another look at it here. It's a good hard hit by Carly Allen, but yeah, Maddie, just a great job. Smile on her face, and in they come again.
Well, we are live. We are bringing you this broadcast thanks to Spacequake Sports, and awaiting the winner of this match, the Walkerville Cats, who finished 2nd on the ladder this season, just 1 point behind the West Torrens Eagles. Are flying fancy at the moment because they are at home watching. They get to rest tonight. It's a little bit colder, but a 2-0 victory over West Torrens on Saturday afternoon, and they'll face the winner of this clash this Saturday. The pitch on the outside edge from Maddie Scott. We're into the top of the 6th inning, and Scott is still on the mound for the West Torrens Eagles. I know we keep going to it, but when are we going to see Trzynski as Tonkin rips this one past Lana Kaiser, challenges the backhand side, and safely aboard at first base. Lead off on for the Falcons.
Great pace by Sarah Tonkin, and we saw something very similar last week when they played against Port Adelaide. She got a triple, pulling it down the left side line there, and getting a bit of a timeout here. So Coach Scott maybe just sussing it out a little bit, seeing if it's time to make a change, or maybe talking about what play they want to implement on this batter.
Well, the camera angle is showing it here. Great identifying work there from the Spacequake Sports crew. Pick out Steph Trzynski from the dugout, and she comes out, and she will now throw the remainder of the game as Maddie Scott has put in a blinder of a performance, just giving up the 2 runs in 5 innings. And as the leadoff got on in the 6th, we can see the change now. Steph Trzynski, for those watching at home, didn't get to start the season. She came back from the Netherlands with an injury. She's only thrown 8 1/3 innings on the season so far. 28 batters faced, 17 strikeouts at an average of about 14 and a bit strikeouts per game. And she also has an ERA of 0.
That sounds like a pretty good stat. And we know that Steph has got a lot of experience behind her again, even for someone who is so young. But Steph spent 4 years at Cal Berkeley and played for the Bears, right up to College World Series level. So she finished off, I believe, finished off her time in Cal as a closer, coming in the game during the game rather than starting. So
with teammate Katie Sutherland Finch, of course, she was watching. And as I looked to my right, I could see Jessie Dresick. It said you were watching. And of course, Katie Sutherland Finch watching as well. So hello to the 2 of our favourite Americans. And we were just talking about you, Katie, and you're a teammate at Cal with Steph Trzynski. She's come into close as she did throughout her career with you, and I'm getting the nod from Katie. You guys at home can't see what I'm talking about, so let's get back to the diamond and watch Steph Trzynski just go through her final warm-up pitches. Now, a couple more pitching stats for you guys is that she's thrown 28 batters. She's given up 2 hits, both singles, and 2 walks. Very imposing statistics, and she seems to have recovered from her injury pretty well.
Correct, and a lot of these batters will never have seen Steph pitch ever, particularly these young ones. And she's not pitched against Sturt this year, I believe, so that could be playing in the back of their mind for some of these Sturt batters, and we see that right there.
Well, came in pretty quickly, and a rise ball, which is one of Steph's specialties, and gets Rachel Tonkin swinging way out of the zone. 0-1 the count. Sarah Tonkin on first base, the runner for the Falcons. A bunt attempt. She practiced the swing like you might see a couple of cricketers do that. They just, it's almost like they rehearse the swing after the plays happened, and she looked like she was trying the running bunt then, so not a sacrifice bunt attempt, a running bunt attempt from Tonkin. Covering up here with that split grip, Sarah Tonkin on first, 0-2 count, low and just out of the zone for a ball.
Yeah, and as I said before, James, you know, if you think something should be happening, it's probably not going to be happening with Coach Young leading this team. He's all about taking risk and doing something unpredictable to try and catch the defending team off guard.
Swing and a foul from Rachel Tonkin. So just protecting the zone there and able to foul that one off. Millie Fidge in the on-deck circle for the Falcons. So we're getting to the 8-9 hitters after Rachel Tonkin, and leaves that one low and in. Not far off the one that was called on Jordan Lambert in the previous inning, but perhaps a little lower, and 2 balls now and 2 strikes. Fouls that one off and stays alive in the count. So Rachel Tonkin still battling here with a 2-2 count.
Steph's got a really calm approach to in the pitching circle. Just takes her time. She's not rushed by anybody or anything. Never looks phased. Just does her thing.
That one right down the middle. Strikeout watching. And the West Torrens Eagles have their first out. Millie Fidge now up to bat. And as you said, Kathy, a lot of these younger players particularly would never have seen Steph at 4 years at college, and she came back late last season and injured this season. So Millie Fidge may very well be having her first turn at bat in her career against Steph Trzynski right now. And the 15-year-old fouls off that one. for strike one. High for ball one, and that is good watching, of course, from Millie.
Millie, one of our young under-17 players who was recently announced in the Aussie under-17 squad as well. We had quite a number of players announced in our squads right across the age group. So credit to the programs that are happening here in South Australia and the coaching behind those programs as well.
Rowan outside. Trzynski with a little bit of a spring in her step. She just missed that spot. Sarah Tonkin has not moved from first base, and we've seen a lot of pitches since she got aboard. After her single to start off this inning, seems like such a long time ago.
Yeah, she'll be wanting to get off that base.
Swing and a miss. Strike three in the second out of the inning. Both strikeouts, one watching, one swinging. And Sarah Tonkin, the catcher, will be replaced with a temporary runner or a courtesy runner, and it's her sister, Rachel Tonkin, who will run on first base. And the 9-hitter now is Jessie Keach.
And Jessie had a great hit last game. Sorry, she probably had a great hit last game, but certainly last time she was up at bat as well, hit out to 8.
That's a very hard pitch to get away. It's low, it's down, inside. It takes a very good swing to get that going.
So Steph's starting a bit similar way she started off against Walkerville the last game they played.
Pop up, Sophie Hoyle underneath it. Takes a good catch, so an early threat from the Falcons in the top of the 6th. Saw the force change made by coach Andrew Scott, bringing in Steph Trzynski, and she retires the next 3 batters for the Falcons. 2 strikeouts and a pop-up to second base. Lee?
I'd just like to give a shout out to Kim Reeder, the girl that came over and pitched for Seacombe this season, who had ACL surgery back in the US of A yesterday. So if you're watching Kim or somebody from the family, all the very best from all of us here at Softball SA.
Now, speaking of injuries, Lee, Hayley Benithan's got to be the hard luck story of the season for the 2nd year in a row. Broken thumb just on the weekend. She missed last year's final series with ligament damage to her ankles, so she's going to miss finals action 2 years in a row. So, Hayley Benithan, hello to you. Special shout out to you. Now, we are interactive. We are around Australia, we are around the world. We shout out to the Roadrunners in Whyalla softball. Good luck for your grand final. Other finals throughout the state have been playing. CDSA's got theirs coming up. We've seen Riverland and Gawler and Mount Gambier finish their final series. So congratulations to everyone around the state who have played and won their finals. Couple of questions. What's Steph Trzynski throwing at in kilometres an hour? We'll get to that next inning. And the Paul Roberts has asked, who do the commentary team think will match up better with Walkerville in a grand final? Well, I might leave that one to you two. As we see Sophie Hoyle up to bat for the Eagles, fouling that one off.
Ladies first.
Oh, wow. That's a question on the spot, and then we see James depart.
Well, let's nut it out. Let's nut it out. They're 2 completely different sides, aren't they?
They are. They are. One is, well, I look at West Torrens as sort of more of a batting side, and yes, definitely some running. That's a pop-up here, a pop-up foul. No problems there with Adkins coming in from first base to catch that out, to retire
Sophie Hoyle.
Sophie Hoyle.
Well, Eagles needed their lead-off to get aboard there. Hoyle gets under it slightly, and a good catch, comfortably taken by Pippa Atkins at first base.
Yeah, so back to what I was saying, and then you know, Sturt have as we've seen tonight, they just put so much pressure on the defensive teams by just their style of play and just uniqueness and doing such unusual things. But yeah, two different teams. Maybe I'll let you give your thoughts first before I make a decision on who will match up.
Yeah, and you've touched pretty well on it, but Sturt with Coach Morgan Young, he will try things. He will do various different things, just trying to get an edge. And I think that's one of the differences. But they're both rookie coaches for A grade, both Andrew Scott and Morgan Young. So whatever happens, they're coming against Hall of Famer Sue Tomlinson, who knows her stuff. So it'll be a challenge.
Great piece of the ball, Kelsey Nucky. Rifle shot out to left field. She's aboard safely, 1 out.
Gee, that was a good hit, wasn't it?
It sure was.
Yeah.
Solid, absolutely solid piece, and moving so quickly.
And when it flies past Belle White and she can't get it, it tells you it's going.
And that might be enough just to give West Torrens a little bit of motivation here and a bit of their rev-up power that they need to possibly bring home another one run or more.
Well, can Brody Borovnik go 3 for 3?
2 for 2 already in the game. Brody Borovnik, both RBIs for the Eagles. She's running red hot at the moment. Piece of the ball up the middle, and it's 3 for 3 for Borovnik.
How good is Brody Borovnik?
In a statewide super performance of the game so far. Maybe we'll have to wait and see on the winner of this match, but an early favourite as she goes 3 for 3.
It means I won't get to bed till about 1:30 in case I get a phone call or 2.
Yeah, hasn't she done a great job?
She's been fantastic.
Alicia Marcheng shows bunt, pulls out on the outside edge, and for ball 1. So 2 runners aboard for the Eagles. Runner on first is Brody Borovnik. Runner on second is Kelsey Nucky, and Alicia Marcheng, who's batting 7. Swings after this one for a strike. She's had a fly ball to left field so far in the game and a sacrifice bunt to third base. Great contribution at centre field as well for the Eagles. Gets down this bunt. Adams has to do the fielding, so another sacrifice bunt to Alicia Marcheng. Gets the job done. 2 runners in scoring position for Jackie Beale, who's also had a reasonable game. A strikeout first turn at bat and a single last inning. Statewide Super replay shows Alicia Marcheng covers up well, gets that bunt down, and a good play from Zali Adams to get the second out.
The bunt went to the right position though, that was good.
First pitch, shortstop Belinda White has to break down the middle. Makes the out and a good play. Pippa Adkins had to reach down low for that one.
Yeah, and there's that arm of Belle White's. I mean, that ball didn't really come all that quickly, but and she was delayed picking it up. But the minute she got it, that arm is just so fast. And Jackie's fast too, but that's where Belinda's arm is really important in those situations.
I think there was a chance for a percentage play then, going the first pitch with 2 people on, 2 out. I think I'd be biding my time. It's just playing the percentages, you know, but who knows, they may get there again because they were in a great position. Just
caught me out there just checking the social media because the grand finals around the state, Eagles Softball Club at Sunraysia won their grand final. Eagles rock, so a little bit of support for the Eagles and some more support for the Falcons here from Charmaine. G'day to Charmaine. And your better half. Let's have a look at David Keen's extra innings. Yes, we played a result, guys. Until there is a winner, we will continue to play throughout the night and into the early hours of the morning if we need to. Dan Peterson, this is a preliminary final, so we hope for the grand final to be just like tonight's close game. Solid Cats in Port Pirie playing in the grand final. And so good luck to both teams playing in Port Pirie. And guys, this is absolutely sensational softball action. Very special thanks to Statewide Super MC Sportswear, MK Services SA, Spacequake Sports, and of course Softball SA, bringing you this terrific action between the Sturt Falcons and West Torrens Eagles, the Battle of the Birds in the preliminary final. Ada Caruana, game's original leadoff up to bat. Steph Drzezinski on the mound for West Torrens, fires that one in for a strike. Did you see that, Kath?
Yeah, not quite. What I'm saying is I'm going to be watching it from now on, because that one looked to me like it had quite a bit of heat.
Oh, we'll keep an eye on the speed as Drzezinski ahead of the count 0-1. Expect it to be out of the zone. Maybe just slightly off pace there at 92 Ks. She certainly did give it her all. However, it was ahead of the count, and so perhaps maybe one of our spinners.
I think I'll be trying a running bunt here, I reckon, with Ada. Top of the lineup, first hitter.
Foul ball, and Caruana stays alive in the count, 0-2 count.
And interestingly enough, Sturt starting at the top of their inning, and West Torrens will be as well. So we're tied game, and it's almost like we're starting over from the top as well.
Well, nothing separating these two sides. Perhaps just one extra on base for the Sturt Falcons, because starting the bottom half of the innings, there's a pop-up from Caruana. Jordan Lambert gets under it, moves across to her right side and drifts across as the ball drifts. It's a still night, so no breeze to contend with, and that's the first out. I was just saying that the West Torrens will have their number 9 hitter leading off. Ada Caruana is the Sturt Falcons lead off, so just perhaps an extra base runner for the Falcons tonight over the Eagles. And as I was saying, nothing between the two teams, as Ada Caruana is the first out, and a good catch taken from Jordan Lambert. Pippa Atkins now up to bat, has had a fielder's choice. Actually, I would have given that a safe hit on that bunt the first inning, and then a walk based on balls the second inning, and a strikeout swinging her last turn at bat. Steph Drzezinski is the difference from her first 3 turns at bat, though, as she gets in there for a called strike. So 0-2 count. So Steph Drzezinski getting to work quick, smart here. Be interesting to see her pitching stats. She's not wasting any time. Firstly, getting ahead of the count, and then secondly, making those outs, as Atkins is 0-2.
Yeah, and similar to how we saw Steph come into the game against Walkerville on Saturday. Really composed, did her job, plenty of strikeouts, helped finish off the game, and lessen the damage that had already been done with the 2-0 advantage to Walkerville.
So composed, isn't she, Steph?
Swing and a miss, 2 up and 2 out in quick succession. That makes 5 in a row for Drzezinski, and that is her 3rd strikeout from 5 batters.
17 strikes and 5 balls.
Well, how's this for a mouth-watering matchup here? One of the best local pitchers of our time, Steph Drzezinski, in recent years, up against Maddie Cameron, one of the best batters in the state at the moment. And these two were actually teammates for the junior Aussie women's team at the 2013 Junior Women's World Championships, bronze medalists that year. Try for ball 2, timeout called from Carly Allen, and I'll just touch on that. These two went through junior Aussie squads together. They played at a Junior Women's World Championship together in 2013. Steph backed it up a couple of years later and played in her 2nd. And then Steph went off to college, and Maddie worked her way through the system and got herself into the senior Travelodge Aussie Spirit squad, and Steph Brzezinski comes back from college, joins her straight away. So the two found each other back in the same squad yet again, and they'll travel to the MPF. This off-season, well, off-season for Australia, but they will play together in the MPF this winter for us, along with South Australian teammates Jordan Lambert, Belinda White.
Yeah, and they're going to be, this year they're going to be based at Mankato in Minnesota. They're going to be known as the Aussie Peppers.
Hit by pitch, inside edge, and Steph Brzezinski not happy with that one, but Maddie Cameron on this cold night just holding her forearm. Now, we will have a little concern for Maddie, as she was hit in that forearm about 13, 14 months ago, I think, and required surgery and a plate to be put in her forearm, so she wears an arm guard. So hopefully she's okay. A runner aboard for the dangerous Belinda White. This one also inside, and
yeah, Steph will be working hard here to keep it right out of Bell's sweet spot.
2 out. Maddie Cameron's got wheels, but pretty sure he'll let Belinda White swing away here. Swing and a miss, and Cameron gets a big lead off now. Well, Cameron went back to the orange base then. That's pretty dangerous, because she's out if she gets tagged out going back to that orange base. It's only there for when you're the batter, not for when you're a runner. So interesting to see that she went to the orange base that time around.
I think I would have passed her up here because and get to Jordan Lee with 2 down.
Foul ball.
Just playing the percentages, I'm thinking. There's 2 out.
All right, well, we do know that Belinda White is a clutch hitter. She, of course, hit the walk-off home run at the SummerSlam just last month, and won't forget that in a hurry. What a fantastic concept that was from Softball Australia, and keep your eyes peeled, eyes and ears peeled for an announcement on that tomorrow. Swing and a miss. Steph Brzezinski strikes out Belinda White in the 3rd out of the top part of the 7th inning, and the top of the order will get an opportunity for the Eagles as we go to the bottom of the 7th. It's 2-all.
What an exciting game, just as we predicted, James. Now, just back a little bit on the SummerSlam. One of my favorite parts of the SummerSlam, I was there, was the colorful teams and the cheers that everybody, each team got involved with. And I got behind the Riot, the pink team. In fact, I purchased a shirt, and it is my favorite shirt to go walking in. So I think it is so bright. I do draw quite a bit of looks from the people that I'm walking past. Probably thinking, what on earth is the Riot? But also, wow, that is a really bright shirt.
So you're attention seeking, is that what you're saying?
Always.
I was on the Riot as well, also got my merch, and yeah, I was just saying that Softball Australia got an announcement to come on Fully Loaded Softball, and your chance to play it around the state and in your local association. So please watch your social media pages for that announcement. We've got some Sturt fans on our social media begging for a quick inning to take it to an 8th inning tiebreaker. Steph Brzezinski, is this her first turn at bat for the season? She goes after the first pitch, and it's an error from 3rd base, Jessie Keach. Steph Brzezinski pulls this one hard. A bouncing ball to 3rd base, Jessie Keach. She's aboard safely. Will we see a substitution? They only need 1 run. Perhaps not. Not worth the risk, because Steph Brzezinski's your pitcher.
Yeah, she hit that really hard. I mean, Jessie, it's a shame for Jessie. She's played so well all night, and that just came so hard at her. And yeah, we've got a first runner on base here.
High and outside for the bunt attempt on Jordan Lambert. She leaves that one, and in pretty good hands now for West Torrens Eagles. Steph Brzezinski on first, and she stretches out the legs a little bit. She won't be stealing, but Jordan Lambert may put this bunt down. It's
has to bunt. Jones has to bunt.
0-2 count. Well, Brzezinski's not going to steal. You're not going to steal your pitcher. But Lambert can put down a bunt. Have a look at the corners in pretty tight at the moment. third ball just out of the zone. Now, Zali Adams has pitched this well because you don't want to put one down the middle for the likes of Lambert, who is a specialist at the short game. But at the same time now, you don't want to put a runner in scoring position. And on second base, a 3-0 count. Are you swinging away, Lee?
No, I'm just thinking about Zali. She needs to not rush things here. She appears to me as if she's rushing. Make this batter, Jordan, wait for her.
3-1 count, came in at 86 Ks. She took right off it
bunt
to slot the ball right there. Lambert shows bunt outside for a ball. Is that her third walk of the game?
It is.
She has watched a lot of pitches tonight as she watched that third strike. The last turn up at bat and her fourth turn at bat is on base for the third time, Jordan Lambert. So although Quiet has arrived 3 times, scored the first run of the game, and Faith Picard up to bat also shows bunt. This ball's out of the zone. There is none out. There is runners at first and second, and Belinda White's going to call a timeout and settle her side.
Yeah, great timeout called. And this is the little catch thing that happens with young pitchers. You know, they get all wound up in the moment. Just go back, take your time, make the batter wait for you. Give them something to think about rather than the other way around.
And she's done a great job all night and been in this situation several times. So, you know, she can get herself out of this. She's just got to back herself and to back the players around her as well.
Well, Faith's been one of the players of the years. 23 hits on the season, 359 batting average, 12 RBIs, 8 walks. Steph Drzinski on second base is the game-winning run, or represents the game-winning run. Faith Picard, 2 balls is the count. Jordan Lambert, she doesn't matter. Sturt are not focused on her at all. 3-0 count now for Faith Picard, and a ball will walk. The bases loaded for Lana Kaiser. We've also got Sophie Hoyle to come as well, so might see some big swings from the next couple of batters. Faith Picard with a 3-0 count. She'll watch the next 3, you'd imagine. High for ball 4, it gets away from catcher Sarah Tonkin. Doesn't make any difference as the bases are now walked. Loaded. Well, we were just talking about fully loaded softball and SummerSlam softball. Coach Morgan Young now calls a timeout to speak to his team. What's got to happen here is the outfield's got to come in. That's going to be hard because this batter can power the ball to the outfield. They must be able to play home on a ground ball, let alone a fly ball. Steph Drzinski just has to play it safe and wait for the ball to go fairly into play. Will we see her take off on a wild pitch? That's an interesting one as well. All of Sturt's infielders will be right in tight, so this run does not score.
I think if I'm the Eagles, I'm taking some pitches here. Throw more pressure back out in the middle. So take some, not the first pitch, try to win it in one swing, just bide your time.
We are almost at 300 viewers watching live. Kaiser watches that one and just gives umpire Neville Lawrence a look of disapproval.
Little off-speed pitch there by Zali. Nice start for her, but yeah, no doubt Lana probably feeling it was a little bit on the low side.
Bood watching at home. Swing and a miss.
That's a great pitch.
That was a terrific pitch, wasn't it? Just took a bit off it, had a little bit of bobble about it. And this is the problem when you get batters like Kaiser, Hoyle and Nucky. They want to go the big shot, you know. Just make it land somewhere.
Only one has to make contact and the game's over. It is loaded bases right now for Kaiser. Swing and fouls this one off. Bit of a wry smile on her face. She looks up the first base line and practices that swing or that punch shot for opposite field. She's not going to get one in the zone when she's behind 0-2.
Yeah, she's just going to have to be really patient here, Lana. I mean, she's power batter. She's known for the big hits, but as you said, Lee, this is just about one run.
Cooper Goodman saying swing for the fence. This one is a ball. I've got to agree with him. There is none out. You need one run and it's loaded bases. I mean, yes, you could just be looking to put the ball into play, but there's none out. This batter has the opportunity to win it with one swing of the bat. Hazel watching outside, 2-2 count. So now we're looking at a very interesting scenario for young pitcher Zali Adams. She doesn't want it anywhere near the zone, this pitch, but then it will put a full count on if she misses. Strike out!
Great pitch!
Great pitch! That's the same one that got Jordan Lambert. Not happy with that low zone. But that is only the first out. Zali Adams keeping her Falcons alive. The field will not change. However, Sophie Hoyle is up to bat. Lee, would you bring your outfield right into the dirt here? Because any sacrifice fly, the outfield's going to score.
That's right. Yeah, they've got to be in. It's about playing the percentages once again, James.
How good was that pitch by Zali Adams? Gee, this girl's impressive.
16-year-old on the mound, and
wow.
she just shows this competition that she's going to be around for 15 years to come.
I hope for her parents' sake at some stage she'll make her way down to Adelaide.
Swing, and there it is. Hoyle puts it to the fence. Trzynski crosses the plate. That'll do it. And the Eagles will go through to the grand final. Sophie Hoyle will get mobbed and a dog pile out in the infield. That will do it for the season for the Falcons. And you've got to feel for them because they were written off before the season had already started. They fought their way into finals contention. They made a massive run after the Christmas break. The statewide super replay will show Steph Trzynski crossing the plate. They really did give it a shake-up. They were sitting in second place for a short time there as well, the Falcons. And they eliminated a highly fancied Port Adelaide last Wednesday, and they have dropped a nail-biter. Look at Hoyle celebrate.
She'll be really happy with that, and obviously her team will as well. Particularly as she hadn't really done much with the bat all night. So what a clutch hit when she needed it.
And the superstar scorer, Jill Williams, said her prediction was 3-2. That was at the end of the game when she made that prediction. The
3-2 call was spot on, and we're going to get Kathy to grab us the statewide super player of the game, and hopefully she goes and grabs her now for us as we just go through and we watch Sophie Hoyle yet again with that single. And well done to the Sturt Falcons on a terrific performance. Some of the key contributors this game, Brodie Borovnik, Hoyle, of course, with that walk-off shot. Have a look at the celebration from the Eagles. They're very happy. They're going to face the Walkerville Cats this Saturday night at 7 p.m. The Eagles winners 3-2 in 7 innings of unbelievable softball. We saw the Eagles get off to a great start. It was a 2-run first inning from the Eagles as Brodie Borovnik hit in 2 runs, and then of course they didn't score again until the bottom of the 7th with just the 1 out. We have Kathy Lambert with our statewide super performer of the game, and she will go to her in just a moment. Now, that grand final for those watching at home is this Saturday night at 7 p.m. The Walkerville Cats versus the West Torrens Eagles, and we will cut across to Kathy Lambert and our statewide super player of the game, Sophie Hoyle.
Test. All right, and here we are with the statewide super player of the game, Sophie Hoyle. Sophie, what about that hit? Tell us what was going through your mind before, during, and after that hit.
Well, I hadn't touched the ball all game, so I spoke to Mel McGee. She gave me some advice, keep your shoulder in, so I didn't line drive it, which is what I was trying to do all night, but it was good to do that and good to have our runners on. That's exactly what we need, and we're never going to die in this team, and that's what I love about it. So glad to get that, glad to get the win and playing on Saturday.
Yeah, so what was the strategy coming into the game? What did Coach Andrew Scott say to you guys leading in?
He told us, like, build on the game we played on Saturday. It was a great game we played on Saturday. It's just we were just one hit short from making some real damage. So he said, anytime we get runners on, let's try and score them. And we started well, died off for a bit, but we're never going to die with this team. And so, yeah, he was very positive with us.
Yeah, and I believe you might have a little bit of a sporting conflict or a semi-conflict on Saturday. So thoughts about playing football and softball on the same day?
Well, luckily I've got a few hours break between there, so we'll see how I go, but I'm definitely not missing this game, that's for sure.
Well, hopefully you'll put in some of those recovery strategies that you did with the Stars when you went to the Nationals. So, yeah, all the best, Sophie. Great game. Great game by the team and great clutch hit by you. So well done.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, thanks very much, Kathy and Sophie Hoyle, our statewide super player of the game. She broke that deadlock. It was 2 runs apiece in the bottom of the 7th inning as Kathy Lambert joins us back at the Spacequake Sports commentary position. Kathy just saying that Sophie Hoyle, with that walk-off shot, she hit it like a laser beam to the fence, and it was the 1 run that scored Steph Drzezinski crossing the plate.
Yeah, and as she said, I mean, she got some advice from absolute softball legend Mel McGee, just in terms of what she was doing wrong. Mel just said, get a little bit more of your shoulder into it, turn your shoulder a little bit, and wow, instant success for her and for the West Torrens team. So, how was your prediction on that game? I never gave one, Lee, but what was yours?
Well, mine was 5 or 6-3 in favour of West Torrens. West Torrens won, but the full credit to Sturt, the Falcons. They were fantastic in defeat, and they would be very disappointed now, but look at the season they've had. First time A-grade coach, Morgan Young, fantastic effort. The girls backed him up, bought into his style of play, and we saw it tonight, this full gamut of how he plays the game. And there was the short stuff and the long balls and that. And I don't think I've seen so many running catches taken in the outfield in an A-grade game for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, we saw a great performance from the Sturt Falcons tonight, and they had a great season. I don't think that they should be disappointed with the result for tonight. A 3-2 ball game in the preliminary final against the team that finished minor premiers. They can keep their heads up, and there's been great support on our social media as well, congratulating both teams on the game, and a great comeback as well, because they were down 2-0. They could have dropped their bundle, and West Torrens could have put their foot down, but in the end, it was a great performance, and another full 7 innings from Zali Adams as well. So another great performance. So well done to Zali and the Sturt Falcons. Let's go to the other side of the diamonds. And our minor premiers, the West Torrens Eagles, have made the grand final, and now we're going to see a replay of last year's grand final between the Walkerville Cats and the West Torrens Eagles.
And will it be as close? One thinks it may be, because it was only 2-0 last time, and West Torrens looked a different team tonight, in all fairness. Some big shots there were tonight, but I come back to the pitching. Zali Adams, she should sleep well tonight. She toughed it out, and to strike a person like Lana Kaisler out in a situation like that, where Lana is desperate to hit the winning run, was fantastic. Steph, got to speak about Steph Drzezinski, came in. That was the end of that, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, she faced, 7 batters. She gave up 1 hit by pitch, and a number of strikeouts as well. She made quick work of it, and gee, didn't she put an exclamation mark on those last couple of innings for West Torrens, when you just thought that Sturt were coming back, but it was the experience and the expertise of Steph Drzezinski that did a great finishing job. So she did come into close. Will we see the same tactics at the grand final?
It's a great question, James, and one that's been playing out on my mind probably all week, but certainly more so in the last 10 minutes. Yeah, it's a tricky one, because Walkerville did get their hits off of Maddie, and Steph came in, and there was nothing scored at when she came in. But Maddie's done the job all year. Gee, tough question, and I'm sure Coach Scott will get it will have a big think about it and do what he thinks is right for his team.
He's got a few days to think about it if he can, because it'll be going through his head. But take nothing away from Maddie Scott tonight. She battled it out and looked like, as James mentioned, Steph's warming up. It could be any moment. She came in, he made the right decision at the correct time, and the result stands there, 3-2.
So you mentioned Morgan Young in a great season, first year as A-grade coach, but it's also Andrew Scott's first year as A-grade coach as well. You know, sometimes it's just about the cattle that you've got as well, but of course both teams have got some absolute superstars playing in them. Do you think he would have learnt from Saturday's game against Walkerville, and will he have something up his sleeve, an ace up his sleeve perhaps, for this Saturday's grand final?
Well, he had an ace up his sleeve tonight with Brodie Borovnik, didn't he? Really, so clever man, Andrew. He knows the sport, well, mainly baseball, but first time at softball, he's in the grand final.
Look, we've been interactive all throughout the final series, so thank you all watching at home. There's still about 70 odd of you watching, so great support that we've had from our viewership as well, so we thank you very much, and we can't do it without our broadcast partners, Statewide Super, MC Sportswear, MK Services SA, Spacequake Sports, and Spacequake Sports is the best softball coverage in the country, maybe even in the world, and so we do thank David and his team, of course. Any final comments from my two commentators tonight? There's David, hello mate, and that is the man that pushes all the buttons and brings you all that action, and like I said, the best softball coverage in the country. Any final comments, guys?
No, except we're now looking forward to Saturday. Let's hope we have a nice day like tonight was, weather-wise. And
I'll get an early prediction from you then. You probably will change your mind, Lee.
No,
who's going to win on Saturday?
Well, I'm going tiebreakers, 2 tiebreakers.
Like last year.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not commentating on Saturday because, as you said at the start of the broadcast, I'm actually in Sydney at Sydney Olympic Park at an event this weekend.
And that'll come under the heading Cop Out.
So
Go on.
I can put my mum hat on, and I am going to I'm going to predict West Torrens, and it's going to be I'm going to say it's going to be a 5-1 ball game.
Well, I'm going 4-3 Walkerville.
James?
Well, I've got a tipster who wants to come in and give us a tip, a special tip.
Come
We're
on, Vicky.
live. Here she comes. I'm going to give you the microphone.
Vicky McFarlane, step out of character.
Just have a quick tip for us here. And
We've
say hello
you.
to your fans watching back in the USA, and of course, everyone watching at home. She's one of our favourites, Vicky McFarlane.
Welcome, Vicky.
Oh, thanks for that, James.
So did you enjoy the game?
I enjoyed the game. It was a very close game, very fun to watch.
Yeah. Now, so we're talking about predictions for Saturday night. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I think it's going to be a very close game, but I think Walkerville's going to take it.
Okay, so we're 2-1 here.
Well, the scoring staff has just told me it's going to rain. It's going to be a washout.
Is it really going to rain?
And that's what we don't need, pessimists.
Oh.
And if it does rain, when is the makeup game?
Well, I'm not sure. We'll have to ask CEO of Softball South Australia there. James, when this, if it does get rained out, do we have a date for a
It's not going to rain. It's not going to rain, and it'll be played at 7 p.m. And if it does rain out, it's Sunday. We come back the day after.
Sounds good.
That still doesn't help me, James. I'm still away on Sunday.
I'm happy to hand it back over to James. Thanks
Vicky,
for that, James.
Before you go, Vicky, I just want to say what a pleasure has been watching you play this year and working with you in the speed program with the Stars. And
thank you very much.
I do hope you have a great trip back to America, but I really hope we see you back here again next year.
I hope to be back next year, and thank you for teaching me how to run. I've loved it as well.
All right. Thanks for that, Vicky, and welcome back, James.
Awesome to have a special guest there right at the end, Vicky McFarland. Yes, I have the key. You can go and put that away. Thank you for joining us. Look, there's still over 100 people watching, not only on Facebook, but on YouTube. Yeah, the viewership has spiked with Vicky McFarland. Let's get another tip in just quickly. Katie Sutherland Finch is right here as well. I'll vacate the seat just quickly again. If we keep getting these guests, we'll stay on all night,
for sure.
Particularly if you guys are still watching at home. Matt Axford said hello,
Hello,
and we
Matt.
also see Margaret watching from the Riverland. That's
Hello.
Jordan's Nana. Hello, hello. Here we go.
I hope you guys enjoyed the game as much as we did calling it, and we're just going to have Katie Sutherland Finch come and join us.
Hi,
how
are you?
Good. Another one of our really exciting players that's been here. Katie, we've been here this season, but Katie, we've been talking about predictions for Saturday night. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I think it's going to be a great game. I think this one will be a barn burner, if not into extra innings. I think both sides are very equally matched in that both have very strong pitching with Jesse at Walkerville, and I think West Torrens with Maddie and Steph. It'll be an incredible game. I really predict it'll be very close.
Very close. And as similar to what I said to Vicky, we've so enjoyed having you in our competition this year, and you know just what you bring to the game. I just love your enthusiasm and your passion for when you're in the pitching circle, and you know, and also raising the level of the pitching for our South Australian batters. Will we see you back next year? Is it too early to ask?
No, I will be back next year, and I actually have some friends that I'm going to have come over, hopefully. They've been talking to other teams in the league, and I think it'll be great to have more Americans over here and just you know, raise level competition. I think Stars did incredible this year, and I'm hoping with the more American pitchers we get over here, you know, the better pitching they'll see, and then they'll do just as well as they did this year, if not better.
Well, that's awesome to hear that, and yes, I'm sure you'd be welcome back to Port Adelaide, but probably any other team who would put their hand up. So yeah, thank you again for making South Australia your home during the summer, Katie.
Oh, it's been amazing, and across the board throughout the entire competitions, the coaches, the girls, it's been amazing to be a part of softball in South Australia. The girls have been so welcoming, the coaches have been amazing, and I'm excited to be back next year. I really am.
Fantastic. Yeah. And James, do you have any last comments for Katie here? But
No, I can't wait to be back.
James is really excited to have you back as well, Katie. But yeah, thank you again for coming, and we might just hand back over to James and finish up for the night. Have a great rest of your night and safe travels back to America.
Thanks so much, Katie. Katie Sutherland Finch. She threw about 8 million strikeouts for the season. And Darren, I did see your comment on Facebook. We are interactive and we are getting to your comments if we can. And Debbie Meach just called you a legend. Hello,
hey,
Debbie.
Debbie.
And Darren was watching from Queensland and said that 8 billion frames per second. I think that's what Dave Muggleton said that his cameras go at. And so I've been told a million times not to exaggerate. That's an oldie but a goodie. Lee?
Pathetic.
Coming from you, mate. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, of course. Lee Hull, a legend and life member of Softball SA. Look, let's wrap it up. We still have a whole bunch of people watching, and we didn't want to go until the viewership dropped right down, but it's about time to wrap things up. And so just in closing, we'll repeat tonight's final result. It was the West Torrens Eagles over the Sturt Falcons, 3-2, and we are coming to the final game of the season this Saturday night at 7 o'clock right here, Spacequake Sports and Softball SA Facebook page and YouTube channel. And it is going to be between the Walkerville Cats and the West Torrens Eagles. It'll be a second last broadcast for the year because the Hills Men's Grand Final will be broadcast on Saturday, April the 6th. But it's going to be our last time at West Beach. And I just cannot wait. It's going to be a mouth-watering contest. Guys, any last comments?
No, just confirm those, James, what you said. It's going to be a ripper again.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't do anything else on a Saturday night. Book yourself in at 7 o'clock South Australian time and get onto the live feed on Softball SA and YouTube to watch this game because it is going to be a cracker.
All right, on behalf of Kathy Lambert, Lee Hull, Statewide Super, MC Sportswear, MK Services SA and Spacequake Sports, I'm James Harris. You've been watching Softball SA. We'll see you this Saturday night. Really.
She got two little horns and they give me a little.